Hello, my name is Russell Holtz, and I'm excited to introduce my online course, Guide to Becoming a Certified Flight Instructor in Gliders. In the course, I'll walk you through all the steps necessary to become a CFI-G. I've distilled the material that you're required to know from the Federal Aviation Regulations, advisory circulars, and FAA publications into easily understood blocks of information while providing links to all the source material. This course assumes you'll be using my textbooks, the Flight Training Manual for Gliders, and the Glider Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge to teach your students. Before taking this course, you should have your commercial pilot certificate with a glider rating and have taken the Fundamentals of Instruction knowledge test, or have a certified flight instructor rating in airplanes with a private or commercial glider rating. In this video, I'm going to cover some of the highlights of what the course offers. In the requirements section of the course, I'll cover the training, endorsements, and knowledge tests that you must complete before you can get either your initial flight instructor rating in gliders or add a glider rating to your existing flight instructor certificate. I include links to all the pertinent regulations and information, both in the text, where you can click on a reference to open it in a new window, and in a links subsection. The next section will cover the responsibilities that you'll have as a flight instructor. I'll describe most of the procedural actions you'll be required to perform as a CFI-G, such as filling out and signing logbooks to document training received, and endorsing student logbooks for such things as solo flight, knowledge tests, and practical tests. I provide examples of all the different logbook endorsements that you'll need to provide for your students. In this section, there's also lessons that cover how to accept student pilot applications, as well as lessons on the limitations, qualifications, and requirements for flight instructors. Again, there's a subsection containing all the links used in this section. In the section on record keeping, I'll cover not only records that you're required to keep by the FAA, but I'll also supply you with record-keeping materials that you can download and print to use with your students. Here you can see a sample of the flight training progress record. I include videos that instruct you on how to use both the flight and knowledge training progress records. I also include phase check materials, which include the written phase test and phase check flight plans, and a video about how to use them. And I provide a couple of other important checklists, one for new students, and one for students getting ready to take their practical test. And again, there's a subsection containing all the links and the downloads used in this section. As a CFI-G, you need to be familiar with a large volume of information, including regulations, advisory circulars, and FAA publications and handbooks. In the section on reference materials, I include a list of all the materials that you're required to be familiar with, where you can find the information in my training books, and links directly to the source material. I've been lucky enough to teach at several different glider ports and with many students from young teenagers to octogenarians. In the section Advice for New Instructors, I share some of what I've learned on what to do and what not to do when working with students. Having a clear plan and good instructional materials will make it easier to get complicated concepts and ideas across to your students. In the section on Instructional Materials, I start out by presenting a syllabus for training a new student pilot consisting of 15 training sessions. Each session includes the sections from the Glider Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge and the lessons from the Flight Training Manual for Gliders that will be covered, as well as any phase check tests or flights. In the student notebook lesson, I list materials that you should provide to your student at the start of their training. I give examples for each of these, such as the glider nomenclature quiz shown here. In the instructor notebook lesson, I provide you with over 180 pages of figures and diagrams that you can use to teach the flight and knowledge areas to your students. You can download and print these, or use them on a tablet or computer. In the flight training section, I list all the topics the FAA requires that you cover with your students when giving flight instruction, along with where that material can be found in my textbooks. For each chapter in the Flight Training Manual for Gliders, I describe all the instructor actions that you'll take to teach each flight maneuver or task, including actions in the classroom, in the glider on the ground, and during the flight. For many maneuvers, I also include notes that cover special precautions, how to introduce and teach the material, and how to relate it to other lessons. In the lesson on preparation, You'll need to work with a qualified instructor to develop and practice your own flying skills and practice teaching the maneuvers. I provide a CFI-G flight training progress record so you can keep track of your progress. And in the final lesson of this section, I cover how to conduct a typical training session with a student. Just like in the previous section on flight training, in the aeronautical knowledge training section, I list all the knowledge areas for both private and commercial certificates that the FAA requires that you cover with your students, along with where that material can be found in my textbooks. In the preparation lesson, you'll review each chapter of the Glider Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge until you're intimately familiar with the material that you'll need to teach to students. I provide a CFI-G knowledge training progress record so that you can keep track of your progress. And in the last lesson in this section, I give some advice on different approaches to teaching the knowledge areas. As a CFI-G, one of your duties will be to perform flight reviews for private and commercial glider pilots. In this section, I'll cover the FAA requirements for flight reviews, how to prepare for a flight review, including a quiz that you can give to pilots before the review to help them study the required material, a worksheet that they can fill out with their experience, the type of flying they do, and other important information that you'll need in order to give them an appropriate flight review, and how to conduct a flight review, including a checklist that you can use to make sure that you cover all the required material and document the process. The final section of this course is one on using IACRA, the web-based system for applying for ratings and certificates. I present a video showing you how to register with IACRA, and then I provide instructions on how to apply for new ratings and how to approve applications from your students. Now that you've seen a preview of what this course has to offer, I hope that you'll consider enrolling. I believe this course is the best way to efficiently, systematically, and thoroughly prepare yourself to become a CFI-G. If you have any questions, you can reach me at russell@gliderbooks.com. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video.